So I wanted to show you guys something I found quite interesting. This control here is the original DualShock 4, which I got with my PlayStation 4 on launch. So what was that, about 2013, something like that. So it's very old. I've got these on here because the rubber underneath is worn off, as was quite common with those old controls. So it's the DualShock 4 V1. As you can see, it's quite dirty and old and beat up. That said, it still works perfectly fine. Even the vibration works and everything. The light bar still works. These are a little loose, these are a little loose, but as far as everything else, the buttons work fine, vibration works fine, it's all good. So I bought a new one just to treat myself on eBay. It was shipped from London, but the return address is some strange Chinese address. It came in a very legit looking box, the type of plastic box you have to like cut open with scissors. Has Sony across the front, all that. It looked pretty genuine, but upon using it, I'm 90% sure it's fake. Now, I only really play first-person shooters on my PS4. For like the past 6 months I've been playing Battlefield 5, and that's pretty much all I play, and I've been playing it on this control. I have my sensitivity quite high, and obviously you press this to look down the sight, aim, and then fire. And this control works fine for that. As soon as I started playing with this one, I couldn't hit anything. My aim was just awful. So I played around with the settings on the game, thinking, yeah, it's a new control, maybe I just need to get used to it. I just couldn't fix the problem. So I plugged this into my laptop, and if you go on devices and printers, right click on the controller and then go on controller settings, I think it is, you can actually view on the screen what each button is doing when you press it. And what I saw was that if I move this and hold it still, on like the bar, because on the laptop you can see like the movement it's making as like a little bar on the screen. I'd like hold it like this, perfectly still, and the bar would sort of flicker like that. It's a bit like using a really low resolution mouse. Like the movements on this stick, and maybe this one as well, I'm not sure, because I only use that to like run, but this one, it's glaringly obvious because you're using it to aim. Say if like you're sniping, you're making tiny movements. So like I'd move it a little bit like this and my scope would just shoot all over the place. It was really awful. Another thing I noticed is the square button only works if you push down really hard. Like all the other buttons seem okay generally, just this square button you really have to push down harder on. And then I thought, well, let's have a look at some of the differences and see if we can figure out if you can realistically tell you have a fake controller. The one that immediately I could see, now I could be wrong because this blue one's meant to be the DualShock 4 Volume 2 or whatever it's called, with the light bar at the front. This is the original DualShock 4. So if you look at the PlayStation symbol here, look at that, and now look at this one. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't look right. Now, I don't have a confirmed authentic Volume 2 of the DualShock 4, so I could be wrong, but these look very different to me. Another thing which is really hard to even tell on camera is if you see this circle button here, the circle is not completely level on the button itself, if you see what I mean. The circle is slightly to the left of the actual button face, and it looks to be a tiny bit below it as well. It's not perfectly center is what I'm trying to say. Then compare it to this one, which is perfectly center. It's really hard to see, but I can see it a little bit. As far as everything else, it's so hard to tell. I mean, look, it's got the proper, what looks like the proper sticker on the back. It's even got the reset hole here. That said, it does feel a bit more tacky than this original one. It could just be a muscle memory thing, but these buttons just feel softer with a little bit more feedback. These feel a bit more, I guess I'd describe it as clunky. These feel a bit more like the AB or whatever they're called on the Xbox control. Because on the PS4 you're meant to be able to like push one of these buttons lightly and it will do something, and you can push it harder to make it do it more. So you could like use X as an accelerator, whereas on the Xbox you'd push like A button and it's on and off. It's not analog like these are, or push sensitive. But these feel more like the Xbox ones. Like, I guess they probably are like push sensitive, but they don't feel like it. Whereas these do. They have a lot more, I guess you'd call it, a lot more feedback in your thumbs and your fingers. You can feel when you're pushing it lightly, and you can feel when you're pushing down. You see that? It's more sort of squidgy, so you get a better feel for how much pressure you're using. But that's literally all I can tell. Everything else is damn similar. I can see how a lot of people are, like, I've been on Reddit and everything, and a lot of people have said, oh yeah, the PlayStation 4 controls are really badly made. But it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of these people are getting fake ones and they just don't realise it, because it's so similar. Another thing I noticed with this, actually, I fully charged it and it dropped down 1 bar after about an hour of playing, so it must have a shit battery in it. It says there 800 mAh, whereas this, come on, came out in 2013. If I fully charge it, I'll still get about 5 or 6 hours play, and that's damn good for such an old ass control. So hopefully this helps someone. I'm going to be returning this on eBay because, like I said, you just can't use it like that. It might be alright with like platform games and stuff, but when you need precision, this stick is just all over the place, and square doesn't even always work. So yeah, the only advice I can say is, again, I could be wrong, I'd like to hear in the comments, but that PlayStation symbol does not look right to me. This is a confirmed legit one. It came with my PlayStation 4. It just looks thicker here. The buttons are perfectly centered, like the symbols on the buttons are perfectly centered. On this they're not, but again it might struggle to show on camera, but that circle in particular is not dead center. And the only other thing I can say is the battery life is just not very good on this at all. I remember when I first got this on the PlayStation 4, the battery just seemed to last forever, whereas this one's running out already and I've barely used it. So hopefully this helps. So yeah, all I can say is try and, if you're in the UK or where I am, buy your controller from somewhere reputable like Argos, Asda, Tesco, Game, you know, places like that. I'd avoid Amazon or eBay. So yeah, by the way, this one cost me, I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, it was about £27 delivered on eBay. So yeah, take what you want from this video, just a heads up. Hopefully it will help someone out.